Four straight wins, four straight wins, clinched the Ohio Cup. I mean, as a young kid in Cincinnati,
yeah,
what more could you dream of than an opportunity to close the door on the Cleveland Guardians?
It's been a while since we've held that cup. It's been a long time coming. Let's find a way here. Let's get some outs.
Let's find a way. It'll be Naylor, then Angel Martinez's spot in the lineup, and then to the top with Steven Kwan.
Yeah.
Facing up.
That wasn't called a strike. I just assumed
this umpire's been tight. He's been tight all night. All night.
I feel like that was like completely in the zone. Emilio, bro, we have a 3-run lead, man. I get that you didn't get a call, but we throw fastballs right down the middle, my brother.
He's feeling the pressure of the cup.
All right, we got to get synced up, I think.
All right, you're going to have to pause
how much ahead am I here is the question. I'm usually not the pause play guy, so I don't know how my TV is going to react here.
Naylor's jogging down to first right now.
All right, well, I'm going to find a pitch clock, and I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to play.
Okay.
And I'm at 7 on the pitch clock. It's pretty quick.
8, 7, 6, 5.
We got it.
Cool. All right, it will be Angel Martinez. He'll stand in on the left-hand side, takes a strike. Let's go, Pagan. First strike of the outing for Pagan.
Yep, positives. Ground ball, probably not going to be a double play, but we can at least hope for one.
We'll take it.
All right. Come on, John. Come on, John. Let's not act like Brent Suter's the guy to go to here. I know we're big fans
Let's
of
let
Suter,
Chase.
But
I was a little surprised not to see Suter today, but I guess once you got 5 out of Miley.
I think that's what happened. They got more out of Miley than they ever thought possible. I know that we're nice, big time. All right, one out, chat. I know that we're probably going to maybe give a lot of praise for 5 innings and 3 runs, but we would have signed up for it. I mean, we would have signed up for it. Man, I remember not long ago we were mad at this staff if they went 9 innings and gave up 3 runs and we lost 3-1. Strikes, that's what we need.
Come on. This is a dangerous part of the lineup, though.
No doubt. The guys get on base and guys can hit balls over the fence.
Yep, Logan Thomas has been struggling this year, but has gotten on base 3 times tonight. Starts with Steven Kwan, though. Come on, Emilio.
Yeah, let's just throw the ball over the plate.
All right, I got to put the chat away because Mouse Cop is listening to the radio again.
Oh, the chat is on it. The chat is watching the game. They're actually there in person.
They're there. Kirby's in the chat just telling us exactly what happens before anybody else knows.
That's 2 outs, should be. All right, come on. Keep throwing strikes, really.
Just throw strikes. I mean, the literally the runner on base and the batter mean nothing. You can let both of them score.
Yeah. As the old saying goes, see how far he can hit it.
Yep. Go ahead, Logan Thomas. Show us what you can do. Lane Thomas. I don't know why I called him Logan. Whatever.
Oh, is that in play? No. Damn. Rolf with a bomb. It's a Rolf bomb. He's back doing it again, baby. Bomb.com.
Already? Game's not even over yet.
That might be the deep drive of the day. Michael Rolf is his name. Some would call him Meat in the chat.
Meat.
That's 2 strikes. I like the way that swing looked. I like that. Let's do more of that. Thomas Bagels.
Put them away. Put them away. And Twitter ruins it. Man, I really got to turn off notifications on Twitter.
Well, that's on you. That's on you. That means it's a good thing, though. See ya. See ya. See ya.
That hasn't.
I don't know if we're back. I don't know if we're back, but damn it, sure, it might feel like it. Rolf with a super chat. He said, if the Reds don't win tonight, I won't super chat again until I have another child. Well, I don't know if that was a ploy on the fact that if the Reds didn't win, you had a chance perhaps to convince the old lady to try to get lucky. But if you didn't, I know one thing. You don't have to worry about it because you're super chatting some more. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. At the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Reds win. Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first and Homer Bailey for the second time in his major league career has tossed the no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, is the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
I must say, if you can't find yourself getting a little hopeful if you can't find yourself feeling a little optimistic, then I would just tell you to stop being a fan. Because this baseball team, although I do know we are 1 day away from a shutout and we are 2 days away from a 1-0 loss, this feels like a different baseball team. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the cup that we just won. Some are saying it's a monumental day in Southwest Ohio. I just like the fact that we actually score baseball runs. You know, the thing that's mostly entertaining about the game of baseball, the thing that we've not really done hardly at all this year, it's just enjoyable to watch this team score. Now, we'll get into maybe why we've scored. We'll get into the fortune that we've maybe ran into from time to time in a game like today. But we just had Wade Miley take the mound, everybody. I want you to think about this. I want you to think long and hard about this. We had a winning streak. We were hot. We were feeling good. And we just decided to put out Wade Miley. Now, Wade Miley, just so you know, he got drafted 2 years before the iPhone was even a thing. That's who we ran out to be our starting pitcher tonight. And boy, oh boy, did he give us a great outing. And by great outing, we'll talk about it here in just a minute. 5 innings and 3 runs. We'll take it. But, Craig, super chats are flowing in. And I got to tell you, this is the first time in a long time where I'm starting to think to myself, maybe I've jumped the gun here and I've just wrote the season off well too early. You're not there yet.
I'm not ready to say we're back. We talked about this last night, Trace. Look, I mean, I'm glad that the offense.
How many more wins, Craig? How many more wins? How many more wins does it take for Craig Sandlin to get on his high horse and start to think that the Cincinnati Reds are not just back, but all the way back? I need to know how many more wins.
The problem is that they're so far back in the standings. That
I didn't ask those questions. 1 more win tomorrow? 2 more wins?
Until what?
Until you put a smile on your face and you say, you know what?
Oh, well, I got
this
a smile on my
damn
face
baseball team looks different. And by God, we're not sure why we make the moves we make sometimes. And yeah, Connor Joe bounced the ball 60 miles an hour down the first base line today and got a big time insurance run. Maybe the fortune's starting to turn, you know? The tide's starting to turn. The luck is starting to become on our side. Just a thought.
Well, we've talked about how good this starting pitching has been and how that starting pitching can carry them through. But then you've got Hunter Green going on the IL. We heard news today that he's going to go get a second opinion. It certainly sounds like he's going to be out for a prolonged period of time. Not saying that the rest of the starting rotation can't pick him up, but to expect Wade Miley to go 5 innings of 3-run ball on a consistent basis probably isn't realistic. You're sitting 4 games back as we sit right now, behind 3 teams in the NL Central, obviously the Chicago Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Brewers. Here's the biggest thing is that you've got opportunities against all these teams coming up. The challenge ahead of you is a big one. So respectfully to the Guardians, I think most Guardians fans would tell you right now that they're not playing good baseball. So while I will take the win, absolutely, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, well, it's time to crown the Cincinnati Reds again, because that's not the case. This next stretch that they have coming up is going to be a huge test for this Cincinnati Reds ball club as they want to compete for a playoff spot, because you've got not only obviously this series with the Cleveland Guardians, but then you have the Detroit Tigers for a 3-game set, the Twins, then you get the Cardinals who are playing really good baseball, the Yankees, the Padres, the Red Sox, the Phillies, like the list goes on and on. You're into July before you have another series that is a surefire, you should win that series, and that's when the Marlins come to town early July. Up until then, you're going to be happy to take series, but I don't think you can go into any series coming up and be like, yes, I'm expecting to win this series. Now, my perception may change if this Reds team can continue to hit the ball and score runs the way they have the last several games, but I'm not ready to crown them just the way you are, but I'm getting a little excited.
Well,
Maybe
I'm not saying we're crowning them as world champions, but we damn sure are crowning them as cup champions. Okay, you got to understand what was on stake tonight, and we finished the deal. We're not just a baseball team anymore. We're champions, and champions find ways to win when you're not at your best. Tonight, 16 hits. I don't know if you watch this team a whole lot, but 16 hits in one game. Unless you scratch the game out in Baltimore, it took this team quite literally 3 weeks to get 16 hits. So, yeah, I just think that perhaps we just needed to get healthy. Jake Fraley, I mean, wow. He's hit more home runs in the last, what has seemed like 2 months than he hit in 2 years at one point.
He's got 5 this year already.
Yeah.
Jake Fraley, Will Benson hit the ball well today. He was on base 3 different times. I mean, those 2 guys can combine for getting on base the way they have. That's certainly going to be a boost. Tyler Stevenson has been a little up and down. He's on base again 3 times tonight. That's a big plus. CES, he struck out the first 2 times he was up, but after that, I mean, a sacrifice fly in the 5th to score a run, hard hit single in the 7th. I mean, he's hitting the ball really well. You've got Austin Hayes scheduled to come back here in the next couple of days, hopefully. So, yeah, knock on wood, this lineup is looking much better today than it was a couple weeks ago, but I'm pumping the brakes a little bit, Trace. Pumping the brakes a little bit.
That's fine. You can do whatever you wish. All I know is that the chat summary right now is in the way of the super chats, and it's a real problem. Now, it finally went away. I didn't read the chat summary. I don't give a damn what the chat summary even said because I got some supers to get to, and we're going to get to them right now. RD711 said, and the cup belongs to who? Damn right. It belongs to the Cincinnati Reds, something we've been talking about all offseason. How do we get this cup? You know, that's what the real good franchises do. They find a way to win cups, and we found a way to win this one. Might just be the Ohio Cup, and there might only be 2 teams in it, but who gives a damn? Bryce says, hashtag ATOBTTR. Well, see, that's the brain just continuing.
That's a lot of letters.
That's autopilot.
That's a lot of letters, Trace.
Hashtag ATOCBTTR, and that means, and this one cup belongs to the Reds.
And that one cup.
And this
that Ohio cup.
That Ohio cup. And that Ohio cup belongs to the Reds. That's using a big brain. That's IQ. That's a 20 plus on the ACT by Craig Sandlin. He said, let's go. Bill Furman says, and this cup belongs to the Reds. Jacob Doyle chimes in, says, we're on an 88 win pace, Craig, since the 3-7 start. Just to keep that idea moving. I can't wait to hear about the run differential in a couple days from our main man, Nick Kirby. Jim Lafferty, perhaps an ultimate super chat right here. 2025, the Ohio Cup. 2026, the wild card. 2027, you win the Central. 2028, you win the NCLS. I don't know if that's what we were going for, but that's fine. We'll say the NCLS to make sure we do it right, even though it's not what he meant. 2029 World Series, and Ellie is gone. Wow, that's great. Trust the climb, gentlemen. Love the show. Smash the likes, chat. Go Reds. Thank you. Supporting the likes. RD711 says exactly 1 run in 7 straight innings. Flat Rock says the Reds, they've grabbed the cup hard and won't let go. I don't know if that was a reference or not, but if it was, shout out to Flat Rock. I can't be like Ron Burgundy on this show. I need to start proofreading these before. I'm just letting them rip right now. I could say literally anything, and it's going to get read. Let's see if this one...
Test it, chat.
No, let's not do it. Let's see if this one rings a bell. You know who never won an Ohio Cup? Good point. Maybe Tito is that guy.
Clever.
Donnie Miller says, Frisch's big boy, big play of the game. No free ads. J.R. House sending TJ in the 5th on Quan to take the lead and gain momentum. Shout out Marty and Joe. We're all over the place right there, Donnie, but shout out to the super chat. We went from Frisch's to Marty and Joe all in one super chat. Now that's living. Laish 1277 says, hey, Trace, lunch at B's Buffet. Is that a real place?
You're going to have to tell me, man.
Maybe.
I thought that was a Hamilton thing. I thought maybe I was just missing out on some good grub.
I'm not sure. I don't know what the B's Buffet is unless there's maybe he's talking about the Big Apple, the Apple Bees. I don't know. We've given out enough free ads on the show already. Michael Rolfe with another super chat. And he says, 3 billion watching. Less than 100 lucky likes for a Reds win. ATOBTTR. If we play that Cleveland baseball team for 162 straight with Tito at the helm, the Guardians are 1-161. Let's go. And then Josh Mouse says the Cup's back. We back. All right.
Comments in the chat. Bees Buffet in Fairfield. First of all, apparently
Bees
it's in
Buffet
Fairfield.
Shout out to Bees.
No free ads. Second of all, the chat wants to know if we're getting fireball shots for the Ohio Cup. I know we haven't won the series technically.
We'll see.
But we won the season series.
We'll see.
Race.
We'll see. You know, I was there for a minute ago, and then Craig just brought me all the way back down, talking all reality. You know, he wanted to get into the reality of the situation. I wasn't trying to do that, but here we are. All right, let's do this. We're going to do the box score recap.
14-month nut cutter.
Rolfe is a 14-month nut cutter. He's been a nut cutter since the day he's born. But anyways, 14 months is how long it took me to figure out to become a member because my dumb kid show was trying to use my phone. It's been almost 14 years since the Reds last won the Ohio Cup. We are BACK back. All right. We got to do a show, everybody. We very much appreciate your support. We got to do a show. 16 hits. 16 hits. 16 hits, man. Can you believe it?
One more time.
16 hits. Holy smokes, man. I can't believe it. I really can't. I mean, this team was so damn bad. So bad. I was so tired of watching them. I was all the way out. And when I say I was all the way out, I'm telling you right now, I couldn't have been more out. I was so disheartened, disappointed. Tito was just making up bonehead moves, like putting in, I don't know. You tell me what you think. You got guys like Santiago Espinal hitting in the 2-hole for 2 months against right-handed pitching. It made no sense at all. We were scoring 1 run every other game. In fact, we were on pace, and we might still be because it was so bad at one point. We were on pace, Craig, to score 1 run or 0 runs more times than any franchise that has had a team in the live ball era. And in fact, there was only 2 teams that were on pace to have more, and they played in the dead ball era, and I don't even know the names of the teams because I didn't even know they were major league teams. That's how bad we were. We were bad. We were so bad. And I think we're back. If nothing else, can I say this?
Look at you with the stats.
Well, I'm not a big stat guy, as we all know. And it sounds like neither is Tito. Tito just decided to outcome. I mean, I don't know if we want to go into that. Tito came out today, and you know what I respect about Tito? At least he says what he feels. He's not hiding nothing. He just dropped him right on the table today, and he said, you know what? We're done with the computers, all right? We're done with them. I don't need to see them. I've been around this game long enough. I'm going to go by feel. Now, some people are jumping for joy, and there's other people that are just, maybe I shouldn't say it, but they're diving into, they're putting their head in the sand, and they're just trying to cover their ears because they couldn't perhaps fathom that side of it. But nonetheless, let's do the box score recap and get into the baseball game itself.
Oh, we actually want to follow a rundown now?
Yeah, we should do that. That's what they say a good show does.
You want me to keep these short. You guys want me to keep these short, and then the Reds go out and score runs in 7 innings, Trace.
How many hits they get, Craig?
16.
I can't believe it.
16 hits.
Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. How'd they only get 7 runs, Trace?
Well,
16 hits and you only muster 7 runs.
I don't want to get into that. I didn't want to get into that. We're bouncing into double plays. We're bunting guys over. I didn't want to get into that. We won't worry about it. We just got 16 hits. That's all that matters. Box score recap. By the way, box score recap just as long as Harry Potter. Ready, set, go.
Tito Francona returning to Cleveland for the first time since retiring as manager after the 2023 season. He turns to crafty lefty Wade Miley to lead the Reds as they face off with Luis L. Ortiz and the Cleveland Guardians. The Reds struck first, doing so in the bottom of the second after Will Benson walked with 2 outs, then was driven home on an RBI single by Jake Fraley. TJ Friedel plays add-on in the third with a solo home run to make it 2-0. A throwing error by CES in the third allowed Bo Naylor to reach and advance to second. He then scored on a single from Angel Martinez. Martinez would also score on a Jose Ramirez single. Ramirez then driven in by Carlos Santana to give the Guards a 3-2 lead. Jake Fraley didn't let that lead last long as he hits a solo blast in the top of the fourth to tie the game at 3. TJ Friedel leads off the fifth with a single, then scores on a sac fly from CES to give the Reds a 4-3 lead. In his first major league start since April of 2024, Wade Miley goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The Reds play add-on in the 6th as TJ Friedl scores on a Gavin Lux single. Then they make it 6-3 in the 7th as CES scores on a Will Benson RBI single. The Guardians get a run back on a solo home run by Bo Naylor in the bottom of the 7th off Graham Ashcraft. But Connor Joe adds in RBI double in the 9th to make it 7-4. And Emilio Pagan closes the door and gives the Reds the Ohio Cup, their 4th straight win over the Guardians in 2025. They now sit at 34-33 on the season.
We have a deep drive. Now, whether or not I'm going to get it right or not, I don't know. You want me to take a guess? Am I supposed to take a guess?
You want to take it? You want to take a guess?
Here's
the thing. The probability didn't change a whole, but one of them was 2 feet longer than the other one.
Well, I don't know which one was 2 feet longer, but the one that got me a little fired up was when Jake Fraley turned on a baseball and hit one over the fence. And by God, we got it right. Jake Fraley. I mean, this guy couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat for 2 years. And by 2 years, I mean really like 2 months. Had every bit of 3 home runs in his last 900 plate appearances, but by God, this season, he's turned it around. He's found the juice, and I'm not talking the ones about MiLB was taken. I'm talking about the apple juice you can get at the store. Jake Fraley, 5th home run of the year, fly ball to right center field, 105 off the bat, and 24-degree launch angle for all of you nerds. That's 382 feet if you do the equation perfectly. That would tie the baseball game 3-3. Win probability at the time, get this. The Reds had a 45% chance of winning, which means they weren't supposed to win. And you know what happened? The Reds did win. Another loss for the nerds. But you know what DSC is? They are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thank you to John, his team, and the Cincinnati Reds for just instilling a little bit of hope in what was a very lonely and dark place not that long ago. Where you start in a game like today, I don't know. I guess we'll do this.
Well, let's start with Fraley. Fraley last year, 5 total home runs in 350 at-bats. He's got 5 already this year in just 101 at-bats. I mean, we talk about elongating the lineup. I mean, certainly Jake Fraley being able to hit for power is going to be a huge boost, especially when you go up against right-handed pitching. Him and Will Benson, I think, combining on that left-handed platoon is a huge boost if they can continue to be competent MLB hitters.
Well, that's the question. Whether or not they can keep this up, I don't know. But one thing I was thinking during today's game is that it feels like this is the first time in a long time for this baseball team where if it's not one guy, you feel like the next guy is probably going to step up at some point. You know, like I'm not suspecting Will Benson to be an all-star. I'm not suspecting Will Benson maybe to even be like one of the better hitters collectively on this team. But what I do expect is once out of every 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, Will Benson runs into a couple baseballs. Maybe he hits one home run. He leads an inning off with a double. And you can kind of create scoring opportunities based off of some pop. And if it's not Will Benson, then maybe it's going to be CES. And now the fact that you add Jake Fraley to that mix, it starts to, like you said, give you even more opportunities and more options. It felt like this team for far too long just had a bunch of guys that were at best going to go 2 for 4 with 2 singles. And then that was a great game by whoever it was that did it that night. And now we find ourselves in a spot where TJ Friedl's hitting the ball over the fence. You go down the lineup. Lux has continued to have good at-bats. And I must say, like, Lux had a big-time hit tonight against a left-handed pitcher. And I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that's the right philosophy, to be clear. Like, and I'm not saying that Tito, I don't know enough about the situation in the game and the bench and all that to say that he should have pinch hit for him. But what I'm getting at is it feels like the fortuitous bounce, the lucky break, started to kind of go our way. And it's starting to feel like that's happened the last handful of games, if you want to call it that. Lux is not supposed to get a hit there, right? He's just not. But he flares one into right field, and he gets a big hit. We have a couple guys on this team right now that are playing well and seeing the ball relatively well that were not here all of the year, and that's CES and Will Benson. So, you know, do I think Connor Joe is gonna get big time hits off the bench? I don't. But again, another fortuitous bounce that went our way. Kind of and I guess you could say it didn't matter because the Reds won 7-4. But I thought that was, in my opinion, Craig, that was a big momentum continuer, if you want to call it that, a big insurance run. Because if not, right, the ninth inning feels incredibly different. As you said, that guy means nothing at the plate. Well, that's the tying run now, just one hitter in because you walk the first guy. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying when it comes to this baseball team. Like, you know, it's hard to maybe say that they have everything they need because clearly there's probably still going to be some areas where there's inefficiency at times because we don't have maybe enough big league hitters. But what I like is that we have big league power. And if we have big league power, in my opinion, it's going to work itself out way more than it would be if we continue to try to play small ball. And I'm not somebody, Craig, that like completely poo-poos on small ball. You know, like getting guys on, butting them over, hitting and running, getting them in, hitting sacrifice flies. That's not a terrible thing, but I think you've seen the stark difference in what that looks like when you have a baseball team that can find a way to hit a ball out of the ballpark and you find a team that had to scrape and claw to try to get runs earlier this year. And we found ourselves in a position now where I feel like we genuinely have a chance on a nightly basis to be able to slug our way and win a game. I mean, 7 runs is, I mean, let's be honest, for a month, that's a week's worth of scoring.
That's the entire month. I don't
know about a month, but you get my point. Like I said, how many wins do we have to get where we lost 1-0? You know, whatever it was, 2 or 3 times in a row. I can't remember at this point. We've got to win some games, Craig, like this, where you got a starting pitcher that goes out. We'll get to him in just a second. But that was not a great outing. I mean, it was good for what it was. Perspective is everything.
Good enough.
But it wasn't a good outing, right? I mean, it just wasn't. You give up 3 runs. I think you walked 4 guys in 5 innings. You kind of skirted around the edges a little bit. Got a pretty fortunate double play ball that bounced right down the line. I guess what I'm saying is that we weren't supposed to win tonight, and we did. And that's a positive and step in the right direction.
Well, I think to your point, I think there's a different feel and a different mentality behind trying to bunt guys over because your offense is so anemic that you haven't been able to score anything and you're just trying to get anything across the plate versus trying to bunt guys over because you have faith in the rest of your lineup to score those guys versus hoping that you're going to score those guys, right? So we talked about it in the pre-show during the game. Santiago Espinal doing that sack bunt in the 7th inning felt different than him coming up again in the 9th. But it just goes out to show a couple of weeks ago when you were wondering whether or not the Reds were going to be able to put 1 or 2 on the board and you were bunting Santiago Espinal because you were hoping to get that run across versus tonight where you were already up 5-3 at that point, and you were bunting to get another insurance run across the plate. They put a stat up during the game, Trace, that I'm sure you and many of the viewers saw, but it's worth reiterating. Now in their 34 wins, the Reds have 58 home runs versus only 15 home runs in their 33 losses. They had, coming into tonight, a 692 win percentage when hitting a home run in a game. That's 5th highest in the MLB. And get this, Trace, this is a shout out to Matt Wilkes on X. Mentioned the 692 win percentage when they hit a home run in a game, but when they hit 2 home runs, they're 19-3, Trace, 9-0 when they hit 3 or more home runs. So as much as Tito wants to rely on this small ball, and we hear a lot about their approach to the plate and just kind of getting on base and getting guys over and stuff like that, the numbers don't lie. That clearly power is what is driving this offense and their ability to win baseball games. The question will be whether or not Tito, Nick Krall, and others within this organization will recognize that and try to build a team that way versus it just kind of happening by happenstance.
We'll see. I mean, the good news is this. I think CES, and again, I'm trying to temper expectations. He is a massive wild card he is a massive wild card. I mean, he clearly has 80 grade power. He's I don't even think it's close. I mean, the power that he possesses versus every other player on this team, it is miles apart. Miles apart. I mean, what I mean by that is I'm not saying that, on a given year that he's guaranteed to hit more home runs than the next guy, but his ceiling to hit home runs is so much higher than everyone else because of the ability for him to miss-hit a baseball and it still go 385, 390 feet. We've not had that. We've not had that. And I'm not trying to put this all on one guy or anything like that, but it is remarkable how much different this lineup looks when you just add two guys that might be able to hit the ball over the fence on a given night. And, for all intents and purposes, that's what CES has done. And again, I'm not trying to get overly ridiculous about this, but I'm going to say something that many people might disagree with, and that's fine. I got to tell you, there's like an intuition feeling that I have that Jeimer Candelario is going to come back and he's going to play well. I don't know. I have no living proof as to why. I can't give you a reason as to why, but I just have this innate feeling that Jeimer Candelario is going to come back and play well. And we still don't have Austin Hayes. So this lineup, as bad as it's been for quite some time, if CES can play third base, I think that there's a chance at some point that this thing looks completely different. And you're going to look back at the beginning of this season and you're going to laugh thinking back about some of the lineups that we put out. Like, if you let us stay healthy, Craig, and you put this team towards the end of the year when they're chasing a pennant, hopefully, or maybe they're just chasing a chance to make the postseason through a wild card spot, which is probably the most likely, I think that you're going to look at this lineup and you're going to think to yourself, how in the hell is this the same baseball team than what we had the first month and a half? And that's what gives me a little bit of hope. So we'll see. Is the offense all the way back? It's easy to do on a show when you get 16 hits, but it just feels like they look different. And Matt McClain, for all intents and purposes, we're still waiting on him. I mean, I know he had a good night the other night, but hey, if he can become a relatively average hitter at some point, that would be nice, and it would make this look even more dangerous. So, thoughts on?
Well, I don't know what Jeimer Candelario is going to do. I certainly hope that he comes back and he's serviceable at this point in his minor league rehab stint. As of right now, he's hitting 333 with an OPS of 867. I certainly would take that. I know you would as well. It just goes back to what we talked about last night, Trace, in terms of the flexibility and being able to really work this lineup the way that you would expect to be able to work the lineup. I mean, Spencer Steer can't or shouldn't be your everyday first baseman. So when you're going up against right-handed pitching, whether that's CES or Candelario, you've now got those two guys in the lineup instead of Spencer Steer. When Austin Hayes comes back, now you've got him in the outfield when you go up against a left-handed pitcher instead of Gavin Lux or whoever it may be. So 100% I'm with you. I hope Candelario can come back and give this Reds team some level of production. It doesn't even have to be, hitting 280 and OPS of 800, just something better than what he gave the Reds team last year, because last year and even early on this year, this year at the MLB level, 80 at bats, he was hitting 113. So it's got to be better than that. It's got to be better than that. I'm sure it will be. He was playing through injury for part of it. We know. But yeah, just this lineup just continually getting extended with guys who at least put it in the back of your mind that this guy can hit it over the wall if I make a mistake, changes the pitcher's mentality so much versus having to face a guy like Santiago Espinal 4 times instead of him just coming in as a defensive replacement late in the game.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not trying to pick on Santiago Espinal, but I've watched him play enough now to where it's making me rethink the whole concept of just putting the ball in play is a good thing. And I know it's a kind of a joke. It sounds like a joke. It's really not. I even seen obviously Nick Kirby put out a post, I believe, just about kind of the concept of looking at maybe Santiago and what happens when he puts the ball in play. I'm hesitant to say this. there are times where putting the ball in play is imperative. If you got guys on second and third with nobody out, you want to put the ball in play to see what happens. Yes, but I got to tell you, man, it does seem like hitting weak ground balls or a weak pop up in the infield is worse than striking out. Now, someone might ask, well, what do you mean by that? I'm just saying, like, I guess a pop out maybe not as much, but it's just as relevant as a strikeout. And secondarily, you hit a weak ground ball, it leads to double plays, pretty evidently so, as Espinal leads the team in double plays by a landslide. And if he doesn't, then I've just not been watching the same baseball. That's without me looking up stats. So it's just something to keep in mind. I hope that Tito and Valleca and those guys kind of start to maybe hone in on that a little bit, because I do know that they appreciate contact. They like guys that are situational hitters that can hit the ball backside and they can bunt guys over and the whole 9 yards that you hear kind of when you're growing up in baseball. But I think that the strikeout stuff, it's definitely something that back in the day was looked upon as super negative. But I got to tell you, I'd much rather have a guy that's got a lot of pop and power that might swing through some pitches more times than not than guys that don't have it, that roll over fastballs more times than I'd like for them to do as well. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the positive side from Santiago Espinal's perspective is that he's top 3 in the MLB in terms of K rate. He's only striking out 10% of his at-bats, but the flip side of that is that he's bottom 2% in terms of hard hit percentage, with only 24.4% on the year. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's great that he's putting the ball in play, but right now what that's resulting in is double plays, like you mentioned, instead of seeing eye singles or bloop line drives or sack flies. It's just not resulting in the results that you would hope for it. And when you have an expected slugging percentage in the bottom 2% at 291, it's just not going to get the job done respectfully. So, that's why ultimately they decided to bunt him the last couple of nights, is because ball in play is a ball in play from him. And I'd rather you bunt, because you're not going to turn 2 on a bunt versus the risk of you turning 2 if I let you swing away.
It was unique how he bunted in the 6th or 7th inning. I don't know what it was. But then he had the same opportunity in the 9th inning. You're trying to get across an insurance run. You decide not to bunt. It lends itself obviously to an out that doesn't move the runners. And then Connor Joe hits a seeing eye single. It was luck, I guess, but it's a weird thing that baseball is, Craig, because I think that the infield comes in right there. I don't know whether or not the first baseman makes the play on the bouncing ball down the line if the infield's in, so you never do truly know. But it was a unique decision, I guess we'll call it, for him to bunt in the 6th or 7th, but not then bunt in the 9th with the same exact opportunity coming up. All right. As always, if you're not already, please like the stream. I very much appreciate it if you like the stream. And we got what we would like to say is a very resourceful number to remember. Some would say in the northern parts of Ohio, this number is also readily available. You can or text or call any dime, day or night. It's anonymous hotline, 988. It's okay to not be okay. You can also visit mantherapy.org. A lot of resources there as well. If you're ever in a time where you feel like, hey, you know what, something's just not right, let me check on some things. They got a lot of different resources you can check out and you can use at mantherapy.org. Craig, I've done the show for too long to make this mistake. I have not brought anything down here to drink. I'm at a point in the show where I desperately probably need that. So, if my wife and or my kids are watching this show, please bring me something down. Otherwise, I'm going to have to leave the show for like every bit of 1 minute here while I go do that. Now, some are suggesting in the chat that this could do the job. I just don't think I'm ready for that. No. Tomorrow I will be, though, if we can find a way to win. Rules are rules.
Some are saying, Trace.
Some are saying.
Did we have any more? I think we had a couple more super chats come in. If you want to knock those out real quick before we get into the Wade Miley talk.
Yes, we do. Michael Mortazavazi. And by Michael Mortazavazi, I think it's Michael Mortazavi. Says, has everyone went and voted to get TJ Friedel in the All-Star game? He is a TJ Friedl stan. He'd like for you to go to the All-Star game and vote for him. So, yeah, if you're into that thing, you like voting for people, go vote for TJ Friedl in the All-Star game. He's been our All-Star. He has been our All-Star. Ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Nick says, Trace, you're high with that candy take. High on life, Nick. High on life. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a reason. I can't give a reason. Obviously, I was extremely frustrated watching Candelario play baseball, as many have seen with my viral clip. But I got to tell you, I can't hide things. I tell people how I feel. Something tells me that Candelario is going to come back and he's going to play well. Shoot me for it. I'm sorry.
Can we have an honest conversation about whether or not TJ Friedl is an all-star?
Well,
maybe not tonight, but as much as I love TJ Friedl and he's been the Reds all-star, and I think that's ultimately what this might come down to.
Yeah, you got to send somebody.
You got PCA, Corbin Carroll, James Wood, Kyle Tucker, Fernando Tatis. Like, it's a long list of NL outfielders that respectfully are going to get votes ahead of TJ Friedl. So if you want TJ Friedl in the All-Star game, you better get out and vote a lot, because he's going to need all the help we can give him in order to get in. Obviously, there's an opportunity for him to be the Reds representative because every team gets one, but keep in mind that guys like Hunter Green may be named to the All-Star game just because even though he's not going to participate, Emilio Pagan certainly could be up there as much as people want to hate on him. He's been a solid closer for the Reds and could be a reliever option. So if you want to see him in the All-Star game, make sure you're getting out there, voting often, because he certainly has shown the capabilities and certainly earned the right to represent this Reds team in the All-Star game. It's just a matter of he's got a lot of competition, so he needs all the help he can get. This isn't a diss on TJ Friedl. It's just a positive on the NL outfield.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine to be fair and honest. That way, when you do have a take about something that people think you're a homer about, you can kind of harken back to that and say, listen, I try to tell it how I see it. Yeah, shout out to Fergie, by the way. Give me some lemonade. That was big time. All right.
Go.
Wade Miley, let's do it. Let's do it. I don't have a whole lot of positive things to say about it. I mean, I'm going to be honest. You want to be honest? I'm thankful that he went out there, and I'm thankful he didn't just completely, the bet. And he gave them a chance to win. So I am extremely happy about that, and I'm excited about that. But this guy is not a big leaguer anymore. I hope we all can agree on that. And the Reds are in a spot now where if we're going to be – Craig, they're going to have some decisions to make. Because if they're going to be a serious baseball team, and they're going to try to win games on a regular basis, they're going to have to fill the role that was Hunter Green, and they have someone that can do it. That I think that they could do it. Now, whether or not you want to do that yet or not, I don't know. But I do know this: it's not going to be Wade Miley.
It's not going to be Chase Burns either, my friend. As much as you and I would love to see him at the major league level, my brain's not letting me get there. It's just not going to happen.
Who's it going to be?
It's Wade Miley, unfortunately.
No.
It's Wade Miley. It's Lyon Richardson. It's Brent Suter. It's bullpen games. I hate to break it to the chat. I know I'm going to get roasted tonight because everything I say is negative, but ultimately, I'm telling you, you're not going to see Chase Burns anytime soon on this Reds roster. It's going to take either a move at the deadline to open up a spot for him or another injury, knock on wood, but they're going to do everything they can to resist bringing him up to this major league roster. So we got to take what we can get. And I hate to break it to you, but if the Reds can get 5 innings and 3 runs out of Wade Miley every 5 days, they're going to take that every day of the week instead of bringing up Chase Burns and having to put him against Major League Baseball players this early in his progression. And I know that we talked about last night, even how we both agree that he's MLB ready. I just have seen the Cincinnati Reds ball club, and that's just not their MO. I mean, I'm trying to remember, obviously Mike Leake was straight to the MLB back in whatever year that was. But I honestly believe the Reds are going to try and patch together, at least for the next month and a half until the All-Star break plus. They're not going to risk Chase Burns until at least after the All-Star break at the earliest.
It doesn't have to be Chase Burns, but it's got to be somebody else then. It can't be Wade Miley, man.
What do you want?
Wade Miley. What do I want? I want a Major League Baseball pitcher, Craig. What do you mean, what do I want? I don't want some guy that's 38 years old that literally just skinned through. He got through this game, all right, by the skin of his teeth. This was not a dominant performance, okay? He's also going up against a team that you've already said has struggled, all right? He's just, I mean, it doesn't take somebody with one eye to even. Honestly, you don't even need one eye. You could just hear by the sound of the crack of the bat probably more times than not that the guy out there is not going to be a Major League pitcher. I don't know what they have to do. Someone smarter than me hopefully figures it out. But I got to tell you, they survived and advanced one start with Wade Miley. If this is a serious franchise and a serious baseball organization and they want to actually win this year, okay, then they're going to have to go fix it. And I don't know what they need to do to fix it. I have some ideas, but if we don't think that those guys are ready yet, then they better get to moving on something else, because I'm just not going to buy into the idea that we're going to be able to go a month with Wade Miley in the rotation and survive in advance.
Well, the question is, do you want to roll with Wade Miley or do you want to go back and risk it with Chase Petty? Because those are the two guys on the 40-man roster that realistically could be turned to outside of just bullpen games and guys like Leon Richardson and Brent Suter. So that's your option, unfortunately, right now, as much as we want to hate on it. Wade Miley is going to give you what he's going to give you. It's not going to be great, but it's not going to be terrible. At least I hope not. Knock on wood.
Craig, it's going to get bad.
But we saw Chase Petty. We saw the issues that he had at the major league level in his 5 1/3 innings pitched. I don't know what to tell. Like I'm not trying to dump on the idea of Chase Burns.
Can you give me anyone
pitcher.
else? I mean, is it really just Petty or Miley? That's our options.
Bullpen games. Turn back to Leon Richardson. Turn to Brent Suter.
Leon Richardson, I can get behind.
Well, he's on your 25. He's on your active roster right now. I mean, he could pitch right now.
I have a crazy
in terms
idea.
of minor league guys. Chase Petty's the only
idea?
starting pitcher on your 40-man roster. Go for it.
And I'm only saying this because it's Wade Miley, and I think that bar is unbelievably low. I mean, I genuinely, I'm not trying to be a jerk here when I say this. I don't know if the bar can get quite lower than Wade Miley as a major league pitcher in 2025. Now, he was serviceable tonight. I'll give him that, right? I'll give him that. But I would ask Graham Ashcraft to give me opener type starts before I went to ask Wade Miley to do this over and over and over again. And I would certainly an option. I would bring somebody up. You bring another guy up to be in the bullpen, and you tell Ashcraft that he's going to have to go give you 4 or 5 innings every 5 days. And I just can't do Wade Miley. I can't do it. And I did it one time.
I think it's more likely that you see Wade Miley used as an opener or a quote-unquote long reliever behind an opener than it is that you see somebody else come up to take his spot in the rotation. I think it's more likely that you see a Graham Ashcraft, Wade Miley combination because you're looking at a hard thrower with Graham Ashcraft and then a crafty lefty with Wade Miley, that it makes sense to put them back to back in terms of a 2 or 3 inning opener out of Graham Ashcraft and then turn to a 3 to 5 inning outing from Wade Miley. That's certainly a possibility that they could look at if they think that Wade Miley is going to struggle to give them 5 innings. But I don't know necessarily that that's something that the Reds are going to do right now. I don't know. I agree with you. I don't love Wade Miley being the 5th starter. And when we talked about it coming into the season, we talked at length about the depth of this Reds starting rotation and the way that it was lined up. But then you had Brandon Williamson go down with a season-ending injury. You had Julian Aguiar, who's out with a season-ending injury. You had Carson Spires, who's out with an injury. Chase Petty in his limited opportunities struggled. So, we went from this really Rhett Lauder, who we have yet to see back at the ready level. So, yes, this is why Nick Kirby, as much as he gets hate, preaches and preaches and preaches about organizational depth, especially at the starting pitching position, because you have 4 or 5 guys right now who could be contributing over Wade Miley, who unfortunately are not due to injury. So now you're turning to Wade Miley, who we thought was going to be an easy June opt-out and would be see you later Wade that now has to step into a major league roster and try to contribute because of the injuries that you have. So I think out of all the options we've said so far, my favorite is the combination of Graham Ashcraft and Wade Miley as a 1-2 punch, because they're so different and they give a challenge to the opposing manager, which Tito has not really been known for so far this year in terms of actually challenging an opposing manager in the way he's crafting lineups and rotations. So as of right now, that's my favorite option we've thrown out there, but I'm open to your opinion in terms of if you think something else is better.
I'm afraid that 1-2 punch is not geared towards the other team, but it would be towards us, the fans. I think that could knock us out personally. But and again, people in the chat are saying that I'm overreacting and that I got to give Wade Miley some time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have eyes, and these eyes.
They're also saying that I had my Cheerios pissed in this morning, so
that's possible. Well, I mean, I tell you what, you've brought some toxicity to this show, and I got to tell you, I respect it as a man who can get a little toxic at times. I can respect it.
These reversed roles are.
You're just trying to be a realist. You're just trying to be a realist. Sometimes it's okay just to try to be a realist. That's honesty is the best policy, as they say sometimes. Listen, no one wants to listen to my take because I've already said it. You know what you do? You kid show. You call up one of the best pitchers in your entire organization. That's what you do. Now, whether or not you want to believe that or whether or not that's what this team does, blah, 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 I don't care. It is what it is. Oh, the Reds don't do that. Well, I got a little birdie that says, if you haven't done that in a long time, and you haven't won in a long time, then why not? Give it a shot. Maybe it's a little bit different, you know? It kind of reminds me, a terrible analogy of the day, I play golf with some guys sometimes, Craig, where they shoot 110. And I ask them, I said, well, have you ever, have you tried, maybe try hitting left-handed? And they're like, oh, I'm just being honest. I'm just saying, like, it's a whole new fresh start to your whole entire golf career. You could try to hit from the opposite side of the ball because you're so bad right now. I don't know if it could get any worse. I don't really understand how Chase Burns coming up here could be bad. I will tell you this. I would almost put my entire baseball credibility, the little that I might have, on the fact that if you gave me 15 starts, okay, with Chase Burns and 15 starts with Wade Miley, I would put my entire baseball credibility and my job on this show on the line that Chase Burns would outperform Wade Miley by a landslide. But I could be wrong. All right.
I don't think there's any question about that, Trace. That's not the question. The question is whether or not this Cincinnati Reds organization is going to do that. And I think that's a different answer. Right. I saw it mentioned in the chat a couple of times, so I just want to mention it more in depth. Rhett Lauder on June 4th was transferred to the 60-day DL by the Reds. He obviously had the forearm injury in the spring and then apparently suffered a significant oblique injury during his rehab assignment. So best guess at this point is that we won't see Rhett Lauder until next year. So, the Reds, again, just went from organizational depth at starting pitching immediately to having next to nobody that you can really rely on. So difficult situation for Tito to be in, especially with the injury to Hunter Green, but hopefully Hunter can rehab and get back and we can avoid any other significant injuries, because certainly, as we've seen, Wade Miley, probably not a long-term solution, especially if you want to be a playoff team.
Well, if you look at the schedule, there is some days off. So I don't know how many times Wade Miley would have to start if they wanted to kind of even mix in a bullpen game here and there, add in the fact that you can maybe skip a start. You can try to buy yourself some time is what I'm getting at. Now, we'll see. I just don't see how in the hell a baseball team that's supposed to make the postseason have Wade Miley a part of their staff for anything longer than a few times. And I know some are going to say maybe that's only a couple games a year, but so be it.
The chat made me giggle. Super Dave in the chat said, give Elliott 10 years and he'll be able to start at pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds.
That's actually, I think, more likely than him to win the Masters, for being honest. I don't know which ones, obviously they're both highly unlikely, but one's got to be more likely than the other just by default. I'd like to think that one's got a better chance. So,
All
right.
Man.
If you haven't already, please hit the like button. We very much appreciate that. I also want to say, for many of you that are in here, this feels good, and this is what being a fan is all about, man. I get it. Sometimes many of you check out. You feel like the season's gone. It's done and lost. I'm not the guy that says you got to be here every single day to be a real fan or whatever. Certainly there's OGs and all the respect in the world for the OGs that are here, win or lose, rain or shine, whatever term you want to use. But man, I tell you, there's nothing better than fandom with a bunch of people, and when the ballparks start to fill up and there's a little bit of a buzz in the air and people at the water cooler, or you go to the supermarket, or I'm using a bunch of old legacy terms to be clear. I don't know if anyone's really doing those things anymore, but you're just talking about the Reds and they're relevant. And that's really something that I feel like might be possible this summer, is that this team can stay relevant if we can continue to find ways to score the way we have. So what else is relevant is going to be Reds MiLB. Now, here's the thing. It's Monday. I have become well aware now on Mondays, Craig, there's just really not a lot of baseball that gets played in the minor leagues, but there is the ACL. Now, whether or not they play tonight and you have stats, I don't know. But Cheng-En Lin, Tyson Lewis, got any updates?
Here we go. Reds MiLB. As always, Nick in the podcast will have a full breakdown of all of these games. The DSL Reds played twice today. Dropped the first one to the DSL Athletics 10-4. DSL Rays beat the DSL Reds 17-16 in 10 innings. ACL Reds currently in action against the ACL Dodgers. They're up 7-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Tyson Lewis so far 0 for 3 with an RBI and a strikeout. Cheng-En Lin not in the lineup so far. Alcantara 1 for 3 with a run. Davies 1 for 1 with an RBI. Chevalier 1 for 2 with an RBI. Cassiano, the catcher, 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs, and then Soriano 1 for 1 with an RBI as well. So 7-1 early lead on the Dodgers. That's in the bottom of the fourth there in Arizona.
All right. Well, about that time, folks. It's about that time. But before we get to that, we do have some more Ohio Cup. Now, some would say the cup's already been claimed. I say we rub it in their faces, I think what we do is we just continue. Maybe we take the cup. I don't know. There is a legit cup, right? We actually get to hold a cup. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like there were pictures last year of the Guardians celebrating with the cup. So
I tell you what I would love, and I don't know, obviously probably the wit, the charm, the humor probably isn't within the clubhouse to have done this, but boy, oh boy, nothing would have made me happier if we came out tomorrow with Ohio Cup champion patches on. Now that should be a thing. I don't know if they're ironing on those patches right now, but I don't know where we put we got a lot of patches on our sleeves. I know we got the 14, we got the no free ads patch on there that's big and white, got blue letters on it. On the other sleeve, I don't know what it is, but boy, if we could get an Ohio Cup pennant somewhere on our jersey by tomorrow, that would make me happy. But maybe we can find a way to win. We got a little who, what, when, where, and why, Craig. Hopefully we got the probables right this time.
No promises, but I'm told that we have them correct. I believe it. Tomorrow, Reds and Guardians square off in game 2 of the 3-game series. 6:40 first pitch on the FanDuel Sports Network. As always, be sure to tune in to the Chatterbox pregame show at 6 p.m. They'll give you the full breakdown of the matchup. Andrew Abbott slated to go for the Reds. He's 5-1 with a 2.18 ERA. Abbott coming off, as you know, the worst start of his season so far against Milwaukee on June 4th. He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts in that outing. Abbott had only allowed 2 earned runs in 32 2/3 innings pitched in May. This was the first start that Abbott allowed 2 home runs this season, had only allowed 4 home runs in 47 2/3 innings pitched entering that game. Abbott against the Guardians back on May 18th, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. It did take him 96 pitches to get through those 5 innings, though. So the Guardians made him work. Abbott is 2-1 with a 3.65 ERA and 3 career starts against the Guardians. Didn't face him at all in 2024. Only career start at Progressive Field came in 2023. That was a 2 1/3 inning pitched, 8 hit, 3 run outing, only struck out 1. That was Abbott's final start of the 2023 season. If you guys remember, he was running out of gas. It was also kind of the game that knocked the Reds out of the playoffs. They lost 4-3. All these pictures of the sad dugouts, and Terry Francona was his last home game as Cleveland skipper. So it was quite the outing for Abbott. But the Reds lost that one 4-3. Current Guardians against Andrew Abbott are 9 for 30 in their career. Ramirez 3 for 8, Kwan 1 for 7, Arias 1 for 4 with a home run and a walk. Jones is 1 for 3. Santana and Schneemann both 1 for 2. And Wilson is 1 for 1 with a double. On the other side, Slade Ciccone gets the ball for the Guardians. He's 1-2 with a 4.87 ERA on the season. Last time out against the New York Yankees, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He relies on 7. I said 7, Trace. 7 pitches. The 4-seamer, slider, curveball.
That just tells me not a single one's worth a damn.
Sweeper.
I mean, you don't have 7 pitches if you have one that's worth a shit. I mean, let's be honest. How many do you need?
The Reds don't do well against. I think the Reds do not do well against guys that are throwing 5, 6, 7 different pitches, though. So we'll see how they react to that. Ciccone last pitch against the Reds in Cincinnati on May 17th. That was 5 innings of 2-hit ball, Trace, but he did give up 3 runs. He cruised through the first 4 innings, allowing just 2 base runners, but then Will Benson homered off him in the 5th. The Reds then added 2 more runs in the 6th. He's 0-2 in his career against the Reds, 4.57 ERA. Active Reds against Ciccone, 15 for 53, an 812 OPS. De La Cruz, 1 for 9 with a walk. Will Benson, 500 batting average, 4 for 8 with 2 home runs in his career against Ciccone. TJ Friedel, 2 for 8 with a double. Spencer Steer, 1 for 6. Tyler Stevenson, 3 for 5. Matt McClain struggled tonight. He's 0 for 5 career against Slade Ciccone.
All right. Well,
that was a lot. Nick had some good notes for tomorrow, let me tell you.
Yeah, you have to.
You won't have to re-record that one for the podcast.
Yeah, tell him next time you got to keep it brief. Whatever he told you, remember that?
Yeah, he tells me to keep the box score recap brief. Here he is giving me 3 pages of notes on tomorrow's starter for the Cleveland Guardians.
Trust me, our chat just heard more, basically more information on whoever that guy was than TJ Friedel was going to hear about it. 7 pitches is all I remember. I mean, 7 pitches. You don't have 7 pitches if you got a good pitch. I mean, I got to tell you. I mean, there's only so many pitches until you start to think to yourself, wow, maybe we could eliminate one of these guys. I don't know. Could be wrong. How do you even – I mean, I haven't played video games in a long time, but how do you even pitch with that guy on a video game? Because there's not enough buttons. I mean, you got to figure out how do you at least back in my day, there was only about 4 or 5 buttons you could press. Maybe it's different now.
It's a good question. Trace, trivia question for you. When was the last time that a team swept the Ohio Cup in the season series? Answer, 2016. The Indians at the time swept the Reds 4-0. Only 4 games that season. 4-0. That was the last time that happened in the Ohio Cup. So
2016.
Reds with a chance here.
Dark days.
Chance here to do it. That was the only time since 1990 that it happened. So knock on wood. Let's see if the Reds can close out a season sweep of the Guardians over the next 2 days. Nick will be with you tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Wednesday for the day game.
All right. Well, folks.
Do we have more super chats come in?
I'm sure we might have. That's a good call out by you. Good call out by you.
No, I don't want you to go dunking without any super chats,
I appreciate that. Flat Rock coming in. He said, I often ate at the Big League Chew in Little League. What? You're saying
we're talking about like the chewing gum.
That's what I was thinking, but then I'm reading it. I'm thinking, all right, is that like a place that you eat at? I don't know, but nonetheless, Flat Rock then chimes in. Flat Rock chimed in. Flat Rock 79, that is, chimed in, said Burns was nasty last Saturday here in Chattanooga. Listen, I mean, guys, could you bear with me for a minute? Could you imagine in 1997 being like, yeah, there's this kid named Tiger Woods, pretty good player, young kid. I don't know if he's ready or not. Probably isn't ready for the big time. You remember Curtis Strange? I don't know if any of you are even golf people. You remember when Curtis Strange was interviewing Tiger Woods, and he's like, Tiger said, I don't really see the reason to enter a tournament unless you plan on winning it. And he said, well, second place is nice. And Tiger said, yeah, second place is nice, but first is better. And Curtis Strange said, you'll learn, kid. Now, listen, am I trying to compare Chase Burns to Tiger Woods right now? Probably not. I shouldn't do that, but I mean, it doesn't take long to realize that kid's pretty special. Pretty special. Pretty special talent, man. Pretty special talent. I mean, I'm happy the Reds have him in the farm system. And I just got to tell you, I'm not saying it needs to happen soon, but if this team gets in a spot where we genuinely have a chance to get to the postseason, if we want to put our best foot forward, that kid will be pitching for us. We'll see. If it happens or not, we shall find out.
We'll see. Quick look around the NL Central tonight, Trace.
Yes, please.
Since we were talking about the Reds
around
odds here. Around the league, Pirates defeat the Marlins 10-3 in Pittsburgh. The Pirates now 27-40, so not overly concerned about that one. But wanted to bring up the other 3 games in the NL Central. The Brewers, they fall 7-1 to the Atlanta Braves. The Brewers now 35-32. The Reds only 1 game in the win column behind the Milwaukee Brewers. In Philadelphia, the Phillies walk it off in the 11th. They win 4-3 over the Chicago Cubs. Cubs now 40-26. They're kind of running away with.
They're pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Central, but nonetheless, a loss for the Cubs in Philadelphia. Brandon Marsh with the walk-off hit for Philadelphia. And then the St. Louis Cardinals, Trace, they were trailing 3-0, went out and scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th, but they gave up a run in the top of the 9th to tie it up. They're in extra innings. Toronto has scored in the top of the 10th to make it 5-4. And if I'm not mistaken, it just went final. The Toronto Blue Jays defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4. Cardinals now 36-29. So
all right,
the teams that the Reds needed to lose do lose on the night. So
it's a good night. It's a good night.
Pick up a game in the standings.
It's a good night. We're 1 day away from extending this winning streak, and I gotta tell you, it's starting to feel a little different. And hopefully they don't make me look like a fool tomorrow. But we'll be back better than ever again of obvious reasons, because we do this. We'll be here live in the 9th inning. For those, to be clear, I know sometimes people are like, are they late? Are they late? Listen, we come live in the 9th inning. If the Reds are tied and or losing, we'll come into the top of the 9th for away games. But if they are winning, we will watch the last 3 outs together. Hopefully the last 3 outs, if they can close the door down. That's how it works. For home games, obviously, it's in reverse. So hopefully that point is well taken and people understand. So it's time in the show. I got to tell you, the dunk cam, one of the dunk cams, I think, died. So you're going to have to bear with me. There's a chance that one. I also, what's funny, Craig, is that these people now are going to think that the stream froze. Well, that's just me because I hit the wrong button. So that was a rookie mistake by me. I literally just stopped the stream for about 1 second and restarted it. So there's probably going to be some buffering here, I would guess, on their end. So I'll just say I'm sorry, hand up on that. But we're going to do the dunk. And any final parting thoughts before we head off into the sunset?
Good night to be a Reds fan. I know I sounded negative, but good night to be a Reds fan.
Great.
Picked up the Ohio Cup.
Great night. Great night to be a Reds fan. So till then, let's go see if we can't be an athlete.